Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I'm going to show you how to properly service and also how to properly repair any VOLKSWAGEN POLO with the engine 1.4 TDI diesel. So today I am working on this vehicle on which I have to replace a lot of parts, and I'm going to show you all in a few seconds what parts exactly I have to replace and fix on this car. And on this vehicle, the most important part which I had to fix was with the clutch, because when the car was started, it was making a very weird noise. It was rattling a lot, and in the beginning I was thought that maybe it is a flywheel which is going bad, but I remembered that on this car, the flywheel is not a dual mass flywheel, it's only a single mass flywheel, and usually this one will not go bad at all. And only after I disconnected and removed out the gearbox completely from the vehicle, I found out that the clutch pressure plate has a lot of cracks in it, and this kind of noise is coming from the clutch pressure plate because when the engine is started, the clutch pressure plate will expand those cracks and they were making a very weird noise when the car was turned on. So in my case, on this kind of vehicle, I'm going to replace the clutch completely with the clutch pressure plate with the clutch disc, and also I'm going to replace this rear main seal from the crankshaft. And if you want to replace the rear main seal on this kind of vehicle, you have to replace it only after you disconnect the gearbox completely out from the vehicle. As you can see, it's only secured with a few bolts over the engine, and you have to remove the old one and replace it with a brand new one. Also, right here on this kind of engine, I have more problems which I have to fix, but I'm going to show you all in a few seconds what are those problems and how to fix them. As you can see right here, this is the metal plate which is right underneath the flywheel. This is the single mass flywheel which is installed on this kind of vehicle and which you don't have to replace almost never. And right here I have the clutch pressure plate, and I'm not sure if you all can see exactly. It's very worn out, and also it has a lot of cracks in it. For example, right here in this area, also right here at the top, and all of these cracks were making a very weird noise when the car was started or turned on. So if you look very closely on the clutch pressure plate, you will see that it has a lot of cracks in it. It's very burned out, but if you look closer on the clutch disc is looking pretty good. I'm not exactly sure why the clutch disc is looking so good compared to the clutch pressure plate. In my case, I think that the owner don't know how to properly shift a manual transmission or how to properly shift gears or release the clutch. But it is what it is. I'll have to replace it with a brand new one. And right here, for example, I have the gearbox which I removed from this kind of vehicle. Right here I have the clutch bearing, the clutch fork which I'm going to replace completely. I'm going to wash the gearbox, I'm going to give it a clean. I'm going to replace also this clutch pump which is installed over the gearbox in this position. And I recommend all to replace all of these parts if you are working on a car and if you are replacing the clutch completely, because only in this way you will know for sure that you did a very good job and that you replace all the necessary parts to make the vehicle run and work like a new one. And moving on with the job, right here on the ground I have all the parts which I'm going to replace and fix on this vehicle. And the first thing which I'm going to do to the vehicle is to replace the crankshaft position sensor, because the vehicle is turning on very hard, it's almost not starting. You have to put the ignition a lot of times, and also on the diagnostic tool is telling me that the ignition or that the crankshaft position sensor is not working how it's supposed to be working, and because of that I'm going to replace it with a brand new one which I have right here in this box. Don't worry guys, I'm going to show you all almost step by step how to replace all of the parts which I'm going to replace right here in today's episode. After that, right here I have the rear shock absorbers which I'm going to replace completely on this kind of vehicle. Then into this box I have the oil cooler, because the oil cooler on this vehicle is very worn out, it has a lot of oil leaks around it, and because of that I decided to replace it completely with a brand new one, and only because I don't want in the future to mix the oil with the coolant on this kind of vehicle. Then right here, this is a little screw which will go over the clutch fork, because I'm going to replace the clutch fork, and you have to replace also this little screw which is securing it mounted in place. After that, right here I have the clutch pump which I'm going to replace also with a brand new one. This one is made by Lippy Air. This is a manufacturer which is very good, it's not so expensive, and it's also a high quality one. After that, right here, let's see what I have in the box. As you can see, this is the guidance bearing on which the clutch bearing will sit. This is going to be mounted into the gearbox, and then the clutch bearing will sit over it. After that, right here I have the clutch pressure plate, the clutch disc, and the clutch bearing. And in my opinion, I recommend all to go with the manufacturer look or sacks for clutches, flywheels, and other components related to the transmission of the vehicles. And then right here into this box I have the tensioner for the serpentine belt, because the one from the vehicle is pretty worn out and is not tensioning the belt correctly. Also I'm going to replace the serpentine belt with a brand new one. After that, in the last part, I'm going to replace all the filters from the engine, the fuel filter, the pollen filter, the air filter, and also the oil filter. I'm going to replace also the oil from the engine. I'm going to replace the coolant from the engine completely, and I'm going to replace also the oil from the gearbox. Also guys, if you want to replace the rear main seal from the crankshaft, so right here it is the crankshaft rear main seal, which is replaceable only after you remove the gearbox from the vehicle. I recommend all to go with the manufacturer Corteco because it's very high quality one and is not very expensive. In my case, I choose to go with Corteco because always when I replace it with other manufacturers, the parts were not so high quality, the parts were very fragile, and from what I can see, this one is almost as good as the original one. Okay everybody, so on this vehicle, which I am working right here, the engine compartment area was very neglected. It had a lot of dirt and grime and oil over it, and before starting doing this job, I already pre-washed the engine. I cleaned it the best I could just to make sure that I'm able to work cleaner and safer over the engine. And I'm going to put later right here on the screen some pictures with the engine before starting working on it and after I finish working on it. Right now, for example, I'm going to replace the oil cooler. I'm going to show you all how to replace the oil cooler, the crankshaft position sensor, and also the rear main seal on this kind of vehicle. If you want to replace the oil cooler, just remove this bottom bolt, which is securing it mounted to the oil filter and to the oil filter housing. And after that, you have to remove the two hoses which are connected to the oil cooler and which are letting the coolant pass through the oil cooler to cool the oil. And you have to remove and catch all the coolant which is coming out from the engine. And if you didn't replace the coolant for more than 2 years, I recommend you to replace the coolant completely with a brand new one, because if it's too old, it's not cooling the engine correctly and it's not working how it's supposed to be working. Right here on the ground, I have the engine mounting support from the back side of the engine, and also the flywheel, which is a simple mass flywheel like I told you earlier. And right here, this simple mass flywheel usually is never going to be replaced because it's almost never going bad. This is only a simple metal plate which is installed over the engine to reduce the vibrations from the engine. And this one is only wearing down very easy, very slightly from the clutch disc. And other than that, this one is not going to go bad at all. After that, right here on the ground, I have the gearbox from the engine. I washed it, I cleaned it the best I could, and right now I'm ready to install all the parts back over the gearbox. I'm going to install all the brand new parts into the gearbox, and then I'm going to install it back over the vehicle. Right here in this moment, all the worn out parts are removed and placed away from the gearbox. I already installed the brand new metal pin from the clutch fork right here. I installed the mounting bracket for the clutch bearing, and also I installed the brand new clutch pump right here over the gearbox. From here, the only thing which I have to do left is to install the clutch fork, and the gearbox can be installed back over the engine. This from right here is the clutch fork. I already installed over it the clutch bearing, and if you want to install it correctly, you'll have to put it over the little metal pin which I installed right here at the bottom. You'll have to put it over it, and I recommend you to also put some grease just to make sure that it will slide in very easy and it will move very freely. And in my case, for example, I always like to replace all the necessary parts from the gearbox or from the part which I'm working on, just to prevent them failing in the future. For example, the clutch pump and also the clutch fork is not necessarily to be replaced, but I always recommend the owner, and it's best to replace them with brand new ones, just to make sure that in the future they will not fail, and in this way they will not create problems in the future when there is no need to be created. So I recommend you all to replace them to prevent them failing in the future. Right now, for example, I'm going to replace and remove the rear main seal from the crankshaft, just to remove all the bolts which are securing it mounted in place, and then you'll have to install the brand new one into its place. After you completely remove the old rear main seal from the engine, you'll have to clean the engine area very well next to the crankshaft. You'll have to clean the crankshaft, you'll have to clean the oil pan from any silicone which can be installed over the oil pan, and before installing the new one back over the engine, you'll have to put and apply some silicone over the oil pan, just to prevent the oil coming out between the oil pan and between the rear main seal. So as you can see, in my case, all the bolts are out from the engine, and as you can see, with a flat screwdriver, you'll have to put it underneath and you'll have to pull it slightly from one corner to the other until it's coming out from its place. On this kind of vehicle, the rear main seal is not needed to be placed into the TDC. The engine can be installed in any position. You don't need to put the engine into the TDC or into a special position. just remove the old rear main seal and install the brand new one into its place without having the worry about putting it into the correct position or something like that. Right now I'm going to clean everything and I'm going to install the brand new one into its place. As you can see right here in my hand, I have the brand new rear main seal which I'm going to install on this kind of vehicle. And to install it back over the vehicle, just clean the area very good, apply some silicone over the oil pan or over the rear main seal at the bottom part, and then just place it back over the same holes for the bolts which are securing it mounted in place to the engine. Just push it down very slightly. You'll have this plastic guidance which will help you to install it easier over the crankshaft. And with two hands normally you will be able to install it very easy and just put it back into its place. And like I just told you, make sure that the holes from the rear main seal are perfectly aligned with the holes from the engine and from the oil pan. After that you'll have to put the bolts to secure it mounted in place permanently, and you'll have to tie the bolts to 15 Nm each. As you can see, in my case, it's installed properly, it's fitted properly over the engine. If you're not sure, you can also take a rubber hammer, a very slight rubber hammer, and you'll have to tap it slightly to make sure that it's fitted correctly over the engine, and then just tight it to spec. Right now, the next thing which I'm going to do is to replace the oil cooler completely with a brand new one, and also the crankshaft position sensor. As you can see right here, the oil cooler is completely removed out from the vehicle. I'm just waiting for the oil to completely drain out from the oil filter and from the oil filter housing. Also the cable from the crankshaft position sensor, it's disconnected from the top part of the engine, and right now I only have to remove the bolt which is securing it mounted in place to the engine and pull it out. So if you're wondering how much oil will leak out from the oil filter or from the oil filter housing after you undo the oil cooler from the engine, don't worry, only a small amount of oil will leak down. About 500 milliliters of oil or half a liter of oil will leak out from the oil filter, because this amount of oil will sit into the oil filter always and also into the oil cooler. And after you remove the oil cooler from the engine, this oil will leak out on the ground. Don't worry, after you finish this kind of job, just put about half a liter of brand new oil into your vehicle and you'll be good to go. Right here, as you can see, this is the place for the crankshaft position sensor. You'll have to remove the little bolt which is securing it mounted in place. And for example, if you don't remove the oil cooler, if you only want to replace the crankshaft position sensor, you will not be able to replace it because there is no space to put the tools to remove the bolt. You will always have to remove and replace the oil cooler, and then you'll have to remove and replace the crankshaft position sensor. And to replace the oil cooler, after you finish removing it out, you'll have to put the brand new O-ring, which is a wide O-ring, at the bottom of this mounting bracket. Then you have to put the oil cooler over it, and you have to put the round O-ring over the top of the oil cooler. Before installing the oil cooler, I'm going to replace the crankshaft position sensor, and then I'm going to install the oil cooler back over the engine. Okay everybody, so as you can see right here, the brand new oil cooler is secured and installed back over the engine. Also, the brand new crankshaft position sensor is also installed and secured to the engine. Everything is ready to go back over the engine like it was from the factory. Right now, the only thing which I have to do left is to install back the gearbox with the clutch pressure plate and with all the parts from the gearbox, and then the job will be done. As you can see right here, just look inside the old oil cooler, how bad it's looking. I have a lot of dirt and debris right here into the oil cooler, and also the exterior side of the oil cooler, it's also looking terribly bad. Right here, as you can see, this is the connector for the crankshaft position sensor mounted next to the oil filter. Right now, the flywheel is installed back over the engine. The flywheel is cleaned, it's ready to go back over the engine, is looking the best. And after the flywheel is installed, I'm going to install the clutch pressure plate and the clutch disc, and then I'm going to put the gearbox back over the vehicle. Always, when you are replacing the clutch pressure plate and the clutch disc, make sure that the orientation, which will be rated GTBT side or gearbox side, will be facing always the clutch pressure plate or the gearbox, because if you install it into the wrong position, it will wear down prematurely and it will not work how it's supposed to be working. So just make sure that you always install it into the correct position. As you can see right here, the clutch pressure plate is properly secured over the flywheel. Also, the clutch disc is centered perfectly with the crankshaft to make my installation of the gearbox very easy after that. And from here, the gearbox is ready to be installed back over them. Very good, everybody. So as you can see, so far everything is installed back over the vehicle. The flywheel, the clutch disc, the clutch pressure plate, all the necessary parts are installed back over the engine. Right now, the only thing which I have left to do is to install back the gearbox, and the job will be almost done. Right here, it can be seen perfectly that the clutch disc is perfectly centered with the crankshaft, so this meaning that the installation will be very easy. Okay, everybody, so in this moment, the job is almost complete and done. Right here, the gearbox is already installed back over the vehicle. I already bleeded the system. Everything is ready to go back on the road. I installed brand new brake fluid into the brake fluid reservoir. I bleeded the clutch. Everything is working how it's supposed to be working. Everything is installed. I only have to install back the battery and erase some errors, and then the job will be done. Also, in the meantime, I replaced the tensioner from the serpentine belt and also the serpentine belt from this kind of vehicle. Also, I replaced the rear shock absorbers and also the dust flotation from the rear shock absorbers. So in my case, the job is complete and done from this kind of vehicle. It was a very complex job. It was a very long job, but eventually I was able to do it completely and very safe and good. So, right now, into this moment, the last thing which I have to do to this vehicle is to replace the gearbox oil. I already removed the drain plug from the gearbox and also the filling plug. I'm going to let all the oil came out from the gearbox, and I'm going to fill it until the oil will come out from the filling plug. Alright, everybody, so as you can see, the job is done. This is how the vehicle is looking. This is how everything is looking so far. I replaced the complete kit, the complete clutch kit, the serpentine belt tensioner, the oil cooler, the crankshaft position sensor, the rear main seal from this kind of vehicle, and also many other parts which are very important to the maneuverability of this kind of vehicle. Right now, let's start the vehicle for the first time and see how everything is working and sounding. Alright, everybody, so as you can see and hear, the car is behaving and working like a new one. It started right away, very easy and very fast. And with all of these things being said, those were all the things and all the steps which you have to do and follow if you want to properly maintain any VOLKSWAGEN POLO with the engine 1.4 TDI. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, found it informative, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give me a comment and a like down below. See you next time.